Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when this video meets you. I am Ambassador Coach Enemari David Ojonigwa, a student of Heart Bible International University, USA, studying Master of Science, Behavioral Health, Substance Use Focus, and a minor in interfaith spiritual care. Of course, I want to quickly point out my key takeaway from spiritual formation course. Our lecturer so much opened our mind to reality in such a way that something striking followed me in the journey of life, and I want to say it clearly. Before now, we look at sinners as a different ballgame altogether. Even as Christians, we look at people who sin with different eyes and perspective. But this one thing I took from that course changed my mindset. A scenario where we have to decide at what point a sinner is to be called a sinner. And I realized if you sin and you refuse to confess to Jesus, who is your Lord and personal Savior, probably the elders or the friends and the people around you were able to rebuke you, such as it happened in the Bible in so many places. If you willingly obey and you confess your sin, you will be forgiven. But if you refuse to do that and you shy away from the congregation, or probably, I remember the scenario, you were given suspension when it was identified, and you were asked to humbly face the suspension terms, and you disagreed, went into the world, doing a lot of things, start misbehaving. It is then that your disobedience consider you a sinner. Not before, not during will you be called a sinner, because as at that time, it was a time of trial. It changed my life, it changed my perspective, and I am here to share with the whole world that Heart Bible International University have done a lot of things to my mindset towards who is a sinner. And this specifically, you are not called a sinner until you refuse to change from your ways. You refuse to confess. And if you are caught according to the biblical injunction, place of suspension to be grown spiritually, and you refuse, that's when you call a sinner. And now I can differentiate between who is a sinner and who is passing through trial. Good morning from Nigeria.